Hello, franchising friends. Catherine Monson here again. Here's my question. No matter what your goal, whether it's to lose weight, get fit, improve your mindset, is there a way to make achieving it easier? I recently read an article in the New York Times titled, "To Start a New Habit, Make It Easy," based on research psychologist Wendy Wood's work. Wendy has authored a book titled Good Habits, Bad Habits, The Science of Making Positive Changes That Stick. I am so excited about this book. I've read about it and I ordered it just last night. It is a book about how we form habits and what we can do with this knowledge to make positive changes in our life. Surprisingly, we spend about 43% of our time each day doing things without thinking about them. That means that almost half of our actions aren't conscious choices, but the result of our non-conscious mind nudging our body to act along learned behaviors. It comes down to habits of how we respond to people around us, the way we conduct ourselves in a meeting, what we buy, when we eat, when we exercise. A truly remarkable number of things we do every day, regardless of their complexity, actually operate outside of our conscious awareness. We just do them automatically. We do them by habit. And yet, whenever we want to change something about ourselves, instead of thinking about how do we make the habit easier, we rely on willpower. We keep turning to our conscious selves, hoping that our determination and intention will be enough to affect positive change. And that's why almost all of us fail. But what if we could harness the extraordinary power of our unconscious mind, which already determines so much of what we do, 43% every day, to truly reach our goals? Wendy Wood draws on 3 decades of research to explain the fascinating science of how we form habits and offers the key to unlocking our habitual mind in order to make the changes we seek. Her book is a mix of neuroscience case studies and experiments conducted in her lab. And it's a great book, Good Habits, Bad Habits. It's a practical book that will change the way you think about almost every aspect of your life. By explaining how our brains are wired to respond to rewards, to receive cues from our surroundings, and shut down when faced with too much friction, Wood dissects habit formation, demonstrating how we can take advantage of this knowledge to form better and better habits. Her work shows why willpower alone is woefully inadequate when we're working towards building the life we truly want, and offers real hope for those who want to make positive change. What is a habit? Habits are a learning mechanism. All we have to do is repeat something and get rewarded for it, and we're learning a habit. In Wood's research, as I mentioned, she finds that about 43% of what we do every day is repeated in the same context, usually while we're thinking about something else. Think about the time you drove home from work and you don't remember actually doing the driving. You were thinking about completely other things. The driving home from work, getting to the right house, it's habit. We are automatically responding without really making decisions. And that is what a habit is. A habit is a sort of a mental shortcut to repeat what we did in the past that worked for us and got us some kind of a reward. Most of us think of self-control as being able to force ourselves to do things we don't want to do. We have this idea that some people have super willpower and others just don't. Many people actually confuse habit and willpower or self-control. The majority of people in Wood's survey say that in order to start a new habit, you have to exert self-control and willpower, and her research shows that's just not true. The issue with self-control is that we all know people who just are more successful at almost every domain of their lives, and psychologists have developed scales to measure this, to identify these people by measuring how much self-control they have. And the people who score high on these scales tend to pay less than the rest of us. They have more money saved for retirement. They have happier relationships. They're more productive at work. They get better grades at school. These are all things that are associated with what we think of as self-control. But here's the cool thing. Wood's research has shown a fascinating contradiction. People who score high on self-control don't achieve successes in life by exerting self-control. They're not practicing self-denial by white-knuckling through life. Instead, they know how to form habits that meet their goals. They know how to make forming habits easier. So, people who we thought had high self-control to achieve great life outcomes instead are really good at forming the right habits. They seem to understand the influence of situations and choose ones in which it's easier to repeat desired actions. They don't have much friction in their lives and so are not tempted to act in counterproductive ways. In the scientific study of habit formation, the thing that makes it harder for us to achieve our goal is called friction. Reducing friction means removing an obstacle or coming up with a strategy that makes a task easier to do. And if you figure out how to make achieving a goal easier, you're more likely to succeed. So friction, as defined in Wood's book, typically comes in three forms: distance, time, and effort. For instance, living far away from a gym or a favorite walking trail makes it less likely that you'll go. In one study, people who lived 5.1 miles from the gym went only once a month, but those who lived within a 3.7 mile radius went 5 times a month or more. It was just distance that was the friction point or removed the friction point. Time constraints can also get in the way of healthy new habits. If you don't have much free time, it's harder to start meditating or working out. And if something requires a lot of effort, like healthful cooking in a disorganized kitchen, you're less likely to do it. Sometimes adding friction in your life helps achieve a goal. In one study, slowing down elevator doors by 26 seconds prompted more people to take the stairs. That built their health. Removing vending machines from schools makes it harder for kids to snack on junk food or drink sugary soda. For me, there are no carbs in the house. I don't even allow honey in the house because when I get a sweet tooth, I start eating spoons of honey and then I wonder, where did the whole bottle go? So adding friction, not having that stuff in the house, has helped me maintain my weight. According to Wood's research, the friction you set up or the friction you remove in the environment is going to have an effect long after you've gotten discouraged and are less excited about the new behavior you're trying to implement. That is why friction is so powerful. That is why either creating friction or removing friction to help you achieve your goals is so very, very powerful, and it persists. To identify the friction that may be stopping us from achieving our goals, take a moment and think about the time, think about the distance, and think about the effort the goal requires. And then ask yourself, what would make this easier for me to achieve? You want to reduce the effort, reduce the time, reduce the distance. The thing about friction is we often don't focus on it when we're changing our behavior. We focus on ourselves and keeping ourselves motivated and exerting that tough willpower. But we have to recognize that we're also going to be influenced by the things going on around us. So here are some amazing ideas to reduce friction. Want to work out first thing in the morning? Sleep in your workout clothes or part of your workout clothes, or have them right there on the floor as you get out of bed. You can't miss them. It is one less obstacle to slow you down in the morning. Put hand weights by your desk. If you went to my office today, you would see in my office, at the office here, at FASTSIGNS International, I've got 2-pound, 5-pound, and 8-pound weights. And sometimes if I'm just thinking or I'm having a conversation, I'm actually doing a little arm workout. I've reduced the friction. I've got it right there in my office. Hey, if you're losing your keys or forgetting your mask, think about hanging hooks by the door so you see them when you walk out. Just making things easier for yourself. Here's another idea. While brushing your teeth, stand on one leg. That's a balance building exercise. After a minute, stand on the other leg. That is going to help you build your balance. Also going to build some fitness in the leg you're standing on, right? Or use the time you're brushing your teeth to practice mindfulness, right? So when you add a new habit like meditation or a balance exercise to an old habit like brushing your teeth, it's called stacking, and stacking your habits makes them easier to remember. And here's another idea. When you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed and you have too much to do, complete a 1-minute task. This approach of dealing with stress using the 1-minute rule comes from the book Better Than Before by author Gretchen Rubin, a book about forming new habits. And this simple advice helps you decide what to tackle in a long to-do list. So just the 1-minute tasks first. Hang up a coat, read some emails, clear and wipe the kitchen counter, tidy a bookshelf. Whenever you take on a 1-minute task, you're going to get a sense of accomplishment and a quick boost of happiness and serotonin. And here's another idea. Buy partially prepared food. I never used to do that, but now when I'm at the grocery store, I'm buying my butternut squash already cubed up so I don't have to deal with it, or my beets already peeled and cut so I don't have to deal with it. I used to avoid that, but I've found I actually eat healthier when it takes less time for me to think about making dinner when I get home from work after a day when I'm feeling a little tired. So I totally recommend Wendy Wood's book, Good Habits, Bad Habits, The Science of Making Positive Changes Stick. You'll learn how to build positive habits and how to make them easier to stick to. You'll love it. Thank you.